The problem right now is I'll be up 2-3%, then I'll go right back down. It's just back and forth thing for me at the moment. Well, that's probably because you're at the break-even stage, which is completely fair, fine. Like you're in a good position. You might not be where you want to be at, but you're in a good position because most traders don't make it to that stage. So even if you've been in that stage for 3-6 months, like it's good because it means that you're close. You're just not close enough. So all you really gotta do is continue to trade and tweak small and minor things over time, and eventually you'll get to a point where you're able to down 2 0 3 got tapped there. So we got to a point where you'll eventually be able to improve based off those small adjustments. It's just very small adjustments we see how to make now. Like go in your journal, look at your trade setups, and then look to see what's like based off of this journal at least, right? Like look to see what's the weakest point, what's the weakest link here, what's the weakest setup, what's the weakest time frame. At one point, the 4-hour time frame had a 7% win rate. Same goes for like I think the third minute time frame actually. Oh no, this is this here. What am I doing? There we go. So like at some point here, you had maybe, yeah, this is still 72. This is my weakest right here. 72 in the 4-hour time frame. 55 trades taken. What else is weak here? This is also weak. So this is weak. This is weak. Previous high or low. It's not weak to a point where I'll drop it, but if it drops below like 60, then yeah, I'll consider it because it's a mix of a bunch of stuff too, right? But overall, that is the weakest. 71 and 72, and then from here, the weakest one here is the breakout, but 346 trades taken. I think that's pretty legit. I have a lot of trade sets with that. And my weakest quarter. Well, you look at that. What is my weakest quarter? September, actually. September, and then you have April, and then you have August. My weakest months. Yeah, so over time, you know, like you journal your trades out, and then you're like, okay, well, what is struggling here? And then whatever is struggling, you try to avoid. Or try to figure out why it's struggling, why it hasn't been working out. So sometimes it might not be about the position that you're in, like the types of entries and setups. Sometimes it might just be because of the structure that you're taking it based off of. It might not have been the right structure. You might have been going against the bias or the overall cycle of what price is supposed to print. So that's why it's key to figure out what cycle price is printing. So today we knew for a fact that it was going to come up in tab 2303. Then we know that's the direction that we're set to drive up towards, right? So then from there, it'll be a lot easier to look for trades going up towards there with the small time frame analysis, right? So like right there, we knew where price is gonna go. Now I have no idea. Price could hover here, it could reject there, you know. But what I do know is that was the minimum requirement before price heads down. So this is a stage probably where you don't want to hunt for positions at. So maybe there was nothing wrong with the trades you took. There was nothing wrong with, let's say, like the onion. Let's say you took the onion play, and the onion play has a 4% win rate. Maybe because you took the onion at a time where it wasn't right to trade, in a cycle where you wanted to avoid. Like right now, this is a cycle where you want to avoid. I want to look for trades just yet here, because here ain't gonna happen. You can just pop up past it, you can just reject and continue to drive down, do whatever. But sometimes it just has to do with that as well. So focus on developing the cycle first, figuring out what part of the cycle we're in, and then from there just add on to it and build onto it, right? Like we know for a fact right now, 9:30, we're not looking for trades until at least the next 4-hour closure. So with the 4-hour closing next, let's say it closes like this, at support like this, after a top wick, then we know for a fact that with the daily candle closing no bottom wick, the probability of you driving down is a lot lower. But with the fact that you also close bearish after grabbing liquidity up here, as you print more top wicks here, you could then establish the next part of the cycle, which is a continuation down after a range. So therefore, you look for price sells on the next forward candle to rip back down towards bottom of the range with the onion play, which would make a lot more sense because now you have